This is Robert Borsaj on September 11th with a little straight talk about America's real security needs. September 11th, 5 years ago. Americans responded as one. We rallied together. The world stood by our side. And now 5 years later, much has changed. Americans are divided. Our allies are alienated. The Muslims' fury at America has increased. Bin Laden is still at large. Terrorist acts are up across the world. Afghanistan is a growing mess, and U.S. troops are mired in an occupation amid a growing civil war in Iraq. We are more isolated, less respected, and less safe 5 years later. The failure of this administration's policies is inescapable. In response, the President chooses not to change course, but to rouse fears. He seems worried more about saving his own face than serving the nation's security. Surely it is time to change course. Common sense, not ideological rigidity, should guide us. We need a crash program for energy independence. That will free us from our dependence on Persian Gulf oil and allow us to end our support for the repressive dictatorships like that of Saudi Arabia that in fact provide the resources for Islamist terrorism across the world. We should isolate the terrorists, not inflate them. We should focus on bin Laden and the stateless terrorist cells. That means reviving a global alliance and the intelligence and police cooperation to do the progressive pursuit of them. We should end the occupation of Iraq, which is weakening our military, isolating our country, and generating recruits for al-Qaeda throughout the world. Put the Iraqi leaders on notice. We've deposed Hussein. There's a new constitution in place. We've provided them with more aid than we gave Europe at the end of World War II. It's time for them to take responsibility for their own country. We should provide greater security here at home. Implement the 9/11 Commission recommendations. Secure our ports. Stop cutting funds for the first responders. Ensure that police and fire and public health forces have the resources needed to respond effectively to terrorist attack or to natural disaster. We need to make America a source of hope, not of hatred in the world. We should go back to our founders' teaching and spread democracy by example, not by force of arms. Respect and champion human rights and the rule of law, and revive our leadership in emerging areas of common concern: nuclear proliferation, catastrophic climate change, the pandemics that now threaten people across the globe. All of this is mostly common sense, but ironically it is the polar opposite of the ruinous policies of this administration. Surely it is time for Americans to demand that we stop fanning fears to cover up failures. It's time to change course. This has been Bob Borsaj with Straight Talk on America's security needs. Thank you for joining the conversation.